problem. Central defenders, they're kicking off now. Let's see what happens.
And that's Eli Cohen on the ball for Israel, wearing number 3. The Israelis are wearing white shirts and light blue shorts, and England in their change strip of red. On the far side there, Avi Cohen. There are 2 Avi Cohens, by the way. The right back plays for a Jerusalem club, and the Glasgow Rangers Avi Cohen, who I mentioned, usually takes up the sweeper's position behind the other defenders. John Barnes on the far side, wearing number 10. Pearce was in there, and so was Webb. You could see the spray coming up there. An offside flag goes up. You just mentioned the centre of the England defence there. It's Watson and Wright today. The last time we played in Israel, Jimmy, we were caught by an early goal through the middle.
And this afternoon by an early rainstorm. It doesn't show at home, but I should say that the pitch is very wet on top, and you'll see the occasional ball. You see the splash there, the occasional ball stopping in the wet surface.
Avi Cohen forward for Israel. Number 11 here is Tikvar, one of the strikers, and there's the spray again. Tried to find number 9 Dreeks, but Gary Stevens was there. This is Chris Waddle starting on the right, wearing number 11. Beardsley, little touch back to McMahon, whose first pass in international football is a measured one and a simple one to Barnes. The referee, by the way, is from Belgium, but his 2 linesmen, one of whom flagged there for offside, are both Israelis. And the ball's certainly going to plop in those puddles from time to time. They haven't done much forking on this pitch since that rainstorm. Here's Clive Allen for England. Dave Watson up with the header. Forward by McMahon. Beardsley trying to cut out the keeper, who had plenty of time. And that was Gary Stevens who was penalised for the foul on Dreeks, so Israel have a free kick. Ball being placed by the captain, Malmillion, number 8, who tends to be the playmaker. Oh, and that wasn't a very good header, and a chance for Dreeks there. Well, it was Dreeks, the centre-forward, who had the volley. And England almost got themselves into difficulties there early on, Jimmy.
Yes, it is a pity, because apart from the nature of the game, that there's the replay. Not the best volley in the world. He won't be very pleased with that one. But it really is going to be difficult for them this afternoon. The Israelis will be glad of it in some ways, although they're unused to this kind of pitch, I'm sure. They really are worried and frightened as a team, and they've packed their defence with a sweeper, 2 big central defenders, and they're obviously going for a result that will enable them to keep their pride. And the pitch will help them to do that.
Dave Watson will be relieved that England got away with that. The player he was marking was the man who was left room by the header for the shot. But we may see 1 or 2 errors, particularly when the ball's on this surface, which is already cutting up. Israel, something of an isolated country in world football. They have to play most of their competitive games against the likes of Australia, New Zealand and Taiwan when it comes to trying to qualify for World Cups and Olympics. But this is Malmillion, their captain. McMahon for England. Tackle there was by Evanier. Avi Cohen of Glasgow Rangers. That was a better header by Watson. That's Eli Cohen. Five minutes gone here in the Ramat Gan Stadium. Klinger with the header for the Israelis. Here's Tikvar, Dreeks, Waddle for England, spreading it across to Pearce. And forward goes Neil Webb into an advanced position, finding John Barnes. McMahon to Stevens. McMahon fairly deep at the moment. Found Mark Wright. Webb's in a good position here, but the pass a little long.
Just signs there that the England team were beginning to cope with the pitch. The way to play it, of course, is straight 2 feet and firmly. It's the only way you can be sure the ball is going to be there, get to its target. Touch doesn't really count under these circumstances.
It isn't a surface the Israelis are used to playing on. This is normally a country with a very warm climate and usually firm, hard pitches, so they'll be getting used to it too. Chris Woods in goal today for England. And here's Pearce. Header was by Avi Cohen, and now he appeals for offside against McMahon. Crowd just filling out a little now on the far side. There are people coming in the opening stages of this match. The rain has thankfully ceased after quite a downpour only a couple of hours before kickoff here in Tel Aviv. But the floodlights are on. Watson is with Dreeks. Stevens into McMahon. Pearce. And again, the ball sticking in the water there in the centre circle. Could be something of a lottery at times. This is Waddle. Gary Stevens making the overlap. Beardsley, Allen and Barnes are waiting in the centre for a cross which never came. Avi Cohen. I don't think that ball's gone out. Little flick was by Avi Cohen, who hasn't been a regular in the Glasgow Rangers side this season, but has figured in 1 or 2 of their European Cup matches. Webb for England, Beardsley, Allen, Dreeks for Israel. That was Evanier. On again, trying to find the right back. That's the other Avi Cohen. Tends to get forward quite a lot, the number 2. He scored a good goal against France recently. Tikvar. If you've just joined this match, there's an offside flag up against Tikvar, and the score is Israel 0, England 0 after just under 9 minutes. England playing with Allen and Beardsley as the front 2, and then the 4 coming from midfield, including, of course, Barnes and Waddle, who will be expected to join the strikers. That's Beardsley to Barnes. Nicely done. Tried to find Allen, but again, there was an offside flag. Off the head of Gary Stevens, and Chris Woods able to avoid conceding the corner. But a great record, Chris Woods, when he has played in goal. This is his 10th cap, and in his previous 9 appearances, he's only conceded 1 goal. And that was in Spain when he came on as a substitute, and the game was well won. Evanier, Avi Cohen, now Mark Wright, the President of Israel is among the crowd here this afternoon. I think you had a shot of him just a second or two ago. That's Haim Herzog, and that was Eli Cohen with a shot. So the first two shots have come really from the Israelis, Jimmy.
Yeah, from Tel Aviv to Tutin, they appreciate a shot at goal. And that brightened it up just for a moment. But it is difficult for the players. It's easy to sit here and be critical, but the pitch doesn't exactly look on the screen as if it's that bad, but it doesn't seem to drain. I suppose with not that much rain in the climate regularly, the drainage system needn't be that good. But it is a pity because I think both sides want to play well. They want to be inspirational, but they'll have to beat the pitch first.
Here's Dave Watson to his Everton colleague, Gary Stevens. I referred to the previous meeting between the two countries, the only one, in fact, in the past, which was in this same stadium 2 years ago. Israel took a shock lead, and England came back to win 2-1 with goals by Brian Robson. One a stunning volley, and one a penalty. That was Shimonov with the header, beating Beardsley. Avi Cohen to Malmilion. Here's Neil Webb picking it up from Stuart Pearce. Eli Cohen forward. Pearce again. Alon, the number 7 for Israel, who's also doing a marking job. Looks as though he's picking up Clive Allen, actually. Just switching over at the moment with Shimonov going towards Allen. But there's definitely a marking job being done by those two tall defenders, and Avi Cohen of Rangers is a spare man. It's in there. Waddle. Gary Stevens. Barnes has started a run on the far side. This is Alon. Drix was trying to find Tikva. 13 minutes gone here in Tel Aviv. Israel 0, England 0 in this friendly international. Waddle. This is Stevens. There are 3 waiting in the middle. But again, no cross coming in. Klinger for Israel. Drix. Malmilion. Tikva. Right. Pearce. Webb. And so far, the Israeli defence coping quite well. They've had a series of internationals in their country against European nations. They have been beaten here by Switzerland, Belgium, Romania and Poland, but they did draw 1-1 with France. All in recent weeks, those. Malmilion there. And I suppose England's result may well be compared with that of Poland here, because those two countries will be in the same World Cup qualifying group. Once, of course, we get the European Championship business out of the way in the summer. Dave Watson. So a quarter of an hour gone then. No score, and England as yet haven't made a direct opening. Although there was a direct hit there by Peter Beardsley on one of the photographers. Robson and Dreeks there. England get the free kick. Watson has gone forward. And that was an easy one for the goalkeeper, Ginsberg. Clive Allen in the picture. Well, certainly got good length on the kick there, Ginsberg. He's 23. Shimonov with the header. Evanier, Ellie Cohen to Avi Cohen. Evanier with right. Webb into Barnes. McMahon. Stevens. What are your impressions so far, Jimmy?
Well, not brilliant. I have to confess it is disappointing because we were watching the England team training and the mood and enthusiasm and a lot of the skill that was shown in their finishing was very exciting to me. Not only Peter Beardsley and Clive Allen, but Mick Harford, who showed how sharp he is at the moment. But it just isn't possible, really, the ball is stopping sometimes, rolling others, and it's really not possible to beat the pitch yet. It may become so as time goes on, but it's going to spoil this as a spectacle, and I think it might have been a much better game than people were looking forward to.
Here's Waddle. Barnes. Waddle goes again. That's Avi Cohen going across, the sweeper, and he's conceded a corner. And this is an area where England were hoping to gain something today. Bobby Robson and Don Howe were putting them through some set plays yesterday in training. The general idea being that Mark Wright goes up into the near post area and Dave Watson comes in from further back. Barnes and Webber in there too. Played short to Pearce. Oh, and Webb. Oh, and away from almost on the line by Klinger. Here's McMahon. Through to Barnes. Will the ball hold up? It did. And Waddle. And Allen. Oh, there was the first flurry of excitement around the Israeli goal, and Clive Allen had the final shot. He's yet to score for England. But that really came indirectly from the short corner. Pearce got involved, then as you'll probably see here, Webb gets the touch that looked like going. He hit the post, actually. Unlucky that for Neil Webb. And away by Klinger, number 4. So really, Neil Webb, unfortunate there, and Allen had the last effort. It's Pearce on the ball now who initiated that. And then John Barnes, as the attack continued, chipped a lovely little ball across to the far post. Chris Waddle headed it back quite accurately, and Clive Allen shot over the bar. That should settle England down a bit. First sight of goal. We've been playing now 19 minutes, and there's no score here in Tel Aviv. Beardsley just trying to lose his marker to pick up this throw. Now Clive Allen with Shimonov. McMahon picking it up from Webb. Stevens. Pearce. Beardsley on the far side. 20 minutes gone then. Israel 0, England 0. And the nearest we've come so far, Neil Webb's effort against the post. Avi Cohen. Foul on Briggs there. The Israelis haven't been able to call up two of their senior professionals who are both strikers who play in Belgium. They were hoping one of them, Ronnie Rosenthal, would get here in time, but he's finally, this morning they heard he wasn't coming, so Drix is playing up front with Tikvar. Bobby Robson, who came off the bench to knock that ball back. Dave Watson. Mark Wright. Yes. Alon there with the tackle on Clive Allen. Pearce again for England. Beardsley started a run down the left. Inside to Barnes. And it's Barnes who is penalised there. Actually, you have to go back 2.5 years to find a victory for Israel in a full international. They beat New Zealand in November of 1985, but their Yugoslav coach, Mihic, is still looking for his first win in charge. McMahon. Malmilian. Shumanov forward, but I think Tikvar was offside anyway. You wouldn't have believed these playing conditions if you'd been here on Monday when it was a lovely day by the Mediterranean. Tremendous amount of rainfall in the last 24, 36 hours. Here's Pearce for England. Webb. Waddle. Takes on Cohen. Allen's coming towards the near post. Klinger got there first. Came out to Webb. Into Allen. Avi Cohen got the ball to Malmilian. Gary Stevens stepped in. Webb again. McMahon. McMahon shot. Worth trying too, because well known that McMahon may even have been told that the Israeli goalkeeper Ginsberg can be excellent, but he can also have his dodgy moments, and on that occasion he didn't quite field it cleanly.
I think he was trying really to impress himself on the game. You know, when it's your first cap in this class of football, and here you are. What am I going to do on a pitch like this to let people know I'm there, to encourage them to pick me again? And I think that was just a bit of frustration. Come on, let me show them what I can do.
I know how psyched up he is today, Steve McMahon, and how excited he was when he heard he would be playing. He would have been used anyway as a substitute today. Bobby Robson had made his mind up about that, but the departure with that groin strain of Brian Robson meant McMahon came in from the start. And here he is on the ball now. Beardsley, Barnes, McMahon, and it was Pearce who couldn't control it. Avi Cohen is the player with the ball on the far side. That's the Jerusalem Avi Cohen, as they know him. And here's Eli Cohen joining the attack for Israel. Dreeks, Eli Cohen again. Not a bad move. Malmilian is forward. Eli Cohen joined the attack usefully there, and Malmilian had to check his run. 25 minutes gone here in Tel Aviv. It's Israel 0, England 0 in this friendly international. Part of a 6-match build-up now for England towards the finals of the European Championships. We play Holland at Wembley next month, then Hungary away, then the Rouse Cup. Here's Stuart Pearce. Beardsley's in there. And Waddle, can he make it? No, scrambled away from the foot of the post. Referee and linesman looking at each other as to whether that was a corner or a goal kick, but Chris Waddle was the player on the end of it. Peter Beardsley did some good work earlier in that move. Pearce was the player who got the ball back from the line. Then it was Beardsley. The chip coming off number 7 near Allon, and Waddle, in fact, hit the outside of the post. So we've now hit both goal posts in this opening 26 minutes. First Webb and now Waddle. Those Rouse Cup matches, by the way, are against Scotland and Colombia. And then England's last match before they lock horns with Jack Charlton's team is away to Switzerland at the end of May. A lot of play coming down the left-hand side now for England. Stuart Pearce seeing plenty of the ball in a forward position. Here's McMahon. Avi Cohen turning it back. Dave Watson with the header. Dreeks. Malmillion. Dreeks trying to get in behind Stuart Pearce. Avi Cohen. Pearce's tackle. Barnes who helped the ball on. Webb and Barnes combining on the left. McMahon is square. So now are two others. Finger got in the way before the ball could reach Gary Stevens. Tikvar. Free kick to Israel. Finger playing it short to Malmillion. Ellie Cohen. Header out was by Mark Wright. Shimonov with McMahon. Offside. Offside. Brilliant finish by Tikvar. He'll be really disappointed about that. The flag was up on the far side the moment the ball was headed back through. It wasn't Dreeks number 9, it was this man Tikvar who actually smacked that on the volley. A beautiful finish, as you'll see again from this. But as the ball is headed back in, I think two of them are offside, as a matter of fact, the 9 and the 11, Tikvar. What a shot, though, Jimmy.
It was indeed, and he was getting the bird from the crowd just earlier on for two bad controls of passes that came to him, but that'll lighten his afternoon up. It's particularly difficult for players really like Stuart Pearce, Steve McMahon, having a chance under these conditions and trying to impress. I mean, you can see the confidence even under the conditions oozing out of players like John Barnes and Peter Beardsley. The touches are still there. The confidence that comes, I suppose, from playing for Liverpool regularly. But the other players are the ones that are trying to impress, but have a very, very difficult job indeed.
So the shot count, as it were, so far. Two England efforts have hit the post, and Israel have had one in the net, but disallowed for offside. Also, of course, there were a couple that went over the bar, one on each side. Here's Chris Waddle. Ellie Cohen. Klinger. Yes. Mark Wright to his left. Webb's on that side as well. There he is. Barnes. Webb back inside to Barnes. Now, can Webb go again? There are 3 or 4 players in the centre, but the ball has run out for a goal kick. Bobby Robson came here for what he thought would be match practice in a warm climate, and he's got a pitch which you might expect on a Saturday afternoon in January in the FA Cup 3rd round.
John Barnes keeps team play seems to have improved so much. He's always had the capacity to play on his own, but the way in which he's combining with other players, other top-class players now, is very encouraging news indeed for England. He and Beardsley seem as sharp as tacks.
Half an hour gone then in this match in Tel Aviv. It's Israel 0, England 0. Eli Cohen to Tikvar, who had that shot a few minutes ago when he was given offside. Now there's a space down the centre of the Israeli defence here. Webb saw it. Offside against Allen, though. They were wide open there for a moment. A couple of the central defenders had been drawn right across, and Allen was caught offside, although Webb played an important part in the build-up. Streaks. Eli Cohen was right, warding him off. Tackle. Barnes. Here's Watson. Beardsley showing again. Here's Stevens. Allen's coming towards the near post. Beardsley turns it in. Ginsberg's had a bit of luck so far. He's seen a couple come back off the post, and Beardsley was just swinging one in, hopefully, there, really.
Come on, lad.
Evanier beaten by McMahon. Avi Cohen. Evanier. Eli Cohen. Waddle got a foot to that. Shimonov. Klinger. Oh, he overdid that with Klinger. Won by Clive Allen and given to his Tottenham colleague Waddle. Webb is well forward in the centre here, the only one who was actually. And he's forced to throw off the other Avi Cohen. Referee wants to stop the play for a moment. Avi Cohen from Jerusalem looks as though he needs some treatment. Well, 33 minutes, Jimmy, and so far no score.
No, two posts. Obviously, the Israelis are working on the principle you can't find a good goalkeeper, find a lucky one, but I think his luck might run out before very long. But as the game goes on, of course, the Israelis are picking up confidence. They're holding England. They can't be comfortable on this surface anyway. But there are flashes here and there, not at that particular moment because that never looked like developing into anything. But there are flashes here and there where you do see some of the excitement the England team can create at the moment. The best part about the trip, I suppose, is that Bobby Robson's had the chance to get together, talk to them, see how they're feeling, and also, here's Barnes coming through with his cross. And it was aimed towards Chris Waddle. It was headed clear by Klinger, who's doing a pretty solid job on that left flank of the Israeli defence. Yes, we're really looking for England to establish a lead in these next 11 minutes. Evanier, because I think to go in at half-time 0-0, whatever you say about the conditions, would be seen as something of a moral victory for the Israelis. They had a lot of bad results recently. Anyway, it's their free kick now. Eli Cohen has made his way forward, number 3. Tikvar in the picture. Malmilian will take it. Streaks coming in behind Watson. Waddle picking it up from Gary Stevens, who's continued his run down the right. McMahon, that's a useful ball into Webb. Now McMahon again. Alon getting in front of Allen, almost a namesake. Won back by McMahon. Clive Allen's on the left now.
Beardsley's in the centre, so is Waddle. McMahon. Stevens. Pushed inside to Barnes by McMahon. Watson. England keeping the Israelis' pen back here. Pearce. But fair to say the final pass was missing in that attack. More than once. Klinger got the ball away in the end. 35 minutes gone and no score. Watson didn't fall for Webb, that. Tikvar volleyed it clear for Israel. Waddle and Allen drifting in here. Oh, look where the goalkeeper is. Handball, and so a free kick for England to perhaps contrive something right on the edge of the Israeli penalty area. Webb has got the ball in his hands. Beardsley is standing just next to him, so too is John Barnes here. Milian going up to the ball now, and there's a few delaying tactics taking place. And Barnes to curl one against the bar. Volleyed back in by Watson. And a chance perhaps at the end there, but Mark Wright was hoping it was going to come out again, but John Barnes, a little dummy by Beardsley and Webb. Barnes curling it. Goalkeeper may have just got a touch. Came back off the crossbar. So now England have hit the frame of the goal on 3 occasions. The post twice, once by Webb there. And now the crossbar by Barnes. So the goalkeeper certainly having his share of good fortune, as Jimmy Hill said. Here's McMahon. Allen is free over on the left. He's got Stuart Pearce going up outside him. Allen made room for the shot, but it was just wide.
To be fair to Ginsberg there, the goalkeeper, I think that was a save. He just got his fingers to it. Otherwise, John Barnes would have scored from there. Very good one indeed. But that was wide of the post, and he covers up just in case.
There's Avi Cohen going back to help out his keeper. Actually, if he did save it, and I think you're right, he redeemed himself by giving away the free kick by coming outside his penalty area to catch the ball. Free kick to Israel then. Fullback Avi Cohen has gone forward here. Evanier is in there as well, so is Tikvar, but it was wasted really.
My guess would be that Mick Harford will come on sometime soon after half-time, if not before, because apart from the fact that he would be quite useful under these conditions with his aerial power up front, I think everybody would like to see what he can do at this level. He seems very sharp at the moment, and he might help the result today, as well as doing future international career a bit of good.
I understand you may be finding the pictures suffering from interference at this stage. We apologise for that. The first half has 5 minutes to run. Here's McMahon. Malmillion. Tikvar. That wasn't a bad ball. This is Dreeks. Avi Cohen is up far side, but Dreeks trying the impossible in a way there. I don't think there's any danger of that creeping in at the near post. Past Chris Woods. Still, the Israelis have shown that they're prepared to have a shot at goal when given the opportunity. Klinger. I'm right in saying that Israel led 1-0 at half-time in the match 2 years ago, and England scored twice in the second half. At the moment, there is no score, and it's Webb for England. Stevens. Waddle. Webb. Now Pearce. Webb, McMahon, trying to work the position there for Gary Stevens. Sliding tackle coming in from Klinger. Watson has gone forward into the penalty area here. Beardsley also facing the thrower. And Watson forces the corner. Barnes will curl this in. Mark Wright has gone to join Beardsley and Webb there. Watson comes in on the keeper, but he fouls him in the process. Free kick. Belgian referee, Alphonse Constantin, and the player injured is number 7, Nia Alon of Israel. He's the lad who probably got hurt in this mix-up here as the goalkeeper came out with his fist. He hurt his own defender there. Nia Alon is actually a university graduate, winning his 4th cap for Israel. We've got 2 minutes left in the first half, and there you can see just what the weather's like here in Tel Aviv. So Nia Alon back on his feet. See our position high in the sky there, the back of the stadium. And as I said earlier on, we apologise for the fact that the pictures at the moment are not quite up to top quality. There's Mark Wright. Malmillion, Avi Cohen. Ivanier, Avi Cohen's making the overlap, reaching a good position in the centre forward slot there, and Woods able to come and collect. Sign of the Israelis getting behind the England defence. 1 minute left in the first half. It's Webb to McMahon. Barnes. Webb is well forward again here. And the goalkeeper just got a hand to it to turn the ball away from Clive Allen. Corner to England. Played short to Barnes. Still John Barnes. Avi Cohen hustling with him and finally getting the ball out of the danger area into the puddles, actually. The trainer's bench down there is virtually flooded where the Israeli subs are sitting. Here's Waddle. Watson still in the penalty area. Half got to it. Drive was by Webb. And Ginsberg going down at the feet of 2 players hoping for a rebound. It was Neil Wedd's shot. So entering time that the referee maybe adding on for stoppages. Neil Webb got over the ball here and drove it so hard into the ground. It became an easy save for the keeper. So half-time arrives in Tel Aviv in this friendly international. With the score 0-0, England have hit the post twice. They've had one effort, or John Barnes did, turned onto the crossbar. As against that, the Israelis had one shot in the back of the net, disallowed for offside, and certainly in their terms acquitted themselves quite well to hold England at the halfway stage. Jimmy Hill.
Well, I think the pitch and the post won the first half, is the truth of the matter, but the shining light for England is that Beardsley and Barnes, the talents were sort of emerging through the gloom. They're still there. Waddle is yet to start, but
Israel 0, England 0 in this friendly international in Tel Aviv.
Just point out that the two corners which England are now going to attack are really up to now been untested, because we haven't seen any play in them really to assess it.
Israel have made a change as they kick off. Daniel Brailovsky, the 29-year-old ball player who looks somewhat South American in style, and I'll explain why later, has come onto the pitch in place of Tikvar, I rather think. Brailovsky is wearing number 12. He'll have his socks rolled down. They see him as something of a mini Maradona in this part of the world. We'll see if there's any truth at all. There he is on the ball. But he has got Argentine connections because although he was born in Israel, his family moved to Argentina when he was young. And Brailovsky played for a while for Independiente and then went to Mexico to play there in club football, leaving there after the earthquake and coming home to Israel. Shimonov. Interesting how that substitution was made in accordance with the FIFA directive to referees now. He couldn't actually come onto the pitch until they were about to kick off. And was noted then by referee and linesman, but he's going to be playing on the left-hand side of the Israeli attack, Brailovsky. And Avi Cohen takes the throw on this side, number 2. Peter Beardsley trying to get into the action there, but Eli Cohen got there first and also got the benefit of a free kick. Eli Cohen has now made his way forward with Nir Alon to the edge of the penalty area. That was Alon. It was volleyed clear by Mark Wright. It's Waddle starting an England attack. Beardsley. Allen's in a good position here. It was hooked away from him by the defender. Shimonov got an important touch to deprive Clive Allen there. Good build-up by England. Beardsley on the right. Ball coming in towards Allen, but there's the hook by Shimonov, which worked out rather conveniently for Israel. Brailovsky into Eli Cohen. Avi Cohen. That's a good ball to the other Avi Cohen. Ricks is in the centre. Good tackle by Stuart Pearce. Here's John Barnes. Shimonov. Brailovsky. Eli Cohen. Tackled by Wright. Now Beardsley. Webb. Waddle out on the right. Klinger, the man he's got to try and beat. Still Waddle. Stuart Pearce. Alon falls for Barnes. Webb has gone pushing forward again. Stevens. McMahon to Beardsley. Ellie Cohen for Israel. Dreeks. Now Watson. Beardsley. Abby Cohen, that's only to Neil Webb though. He's got Waddle outside him. England have got 4 waiting for a cross here. Still Waddle.
Chris Waddle making an attempt to get in the game there. I feel a little bit sorry for him because it took him a long while to make a reputation with the England fans at Wembley, particularly as an international, and in the end he won them over by his perseverance and obviously his ability shining through. But he's really, after this serious injury, had to remake his reputation all over again, and this is the first time people get a look at him at that level, and it's not easy for him.
Clive Allen also hoping to make an impression, having been brought back into the side today. Been out the England picture nearly a year. Here he is. Mal Millian was the player that got back for Israel, the captain. Just over 5 minutes gone in the second half here. And no score in this international between Israel and England. Barnes. Watson. Shimonov with a powerful header there. Watson again. Pearce. Barnes. Pearce. Barnes. Well, the challenge was by Pearce. The player who went down was Avi Cohen. I suppose there'll be a few managers hoping this isn't too draining on the legs, Jimmy, bearing in mind it's
Torquay legs. Just look at the size of those legs there. No wonder that Cohen's lying on the floor there after that collision. A strong, strong player, Stuart Pearce. Resilient and tough. Good old-fashioned defender.
I was going to say he's one of several players who will be in the FA Cup 5th round on Saturday. Dreeks battling there with Wright. It's still Dreeks. Malmilian. Brailovsky. Now Brailovsky. Oh, a bit of a mix-up there. The shot was by Ivanier. Watson blocked it. Brailovsky was at the heart of that. Ellie Cohen. Brailovsky again. Malmilian. Israel have got plenty of players forward in this attack, but if England can break it up, they might get a break on. This is Webb. Come back to Malmilian. McMahon. The break comes now. Barnes. Webb. Allen away to the left. Beardsley to his right. Avi Cohen was in the way. And Brailovsky for Israel. Stevens. Waddle outside him. Still Waddle. Oh, dear me.
He'll have to remake his reputation after that cross off his right foot. Not very encouraging. It does look as if from that top corner he's got the opportunity and the good ground to come past that player, and if we can keep feeding him, in the end one of those crosses is going to go a little straighter and to a target. That's from the point of view of result, but you can see the Israelis now growing in strength and confidence now, that they feel that there might be a result on for them here. If the England morale drops a little, maybe they can just pull off a result which they remember for another 50 years.
Well, they certainly had their moments 2 years ago here when England had to come from behind. Freaks there, gets the free kick, given against Watson. Avi Cohen drifts the ball forward. Nir Alon is up with the header. I can see Bobby Robson barking out some instructions down there from the bench. This is Pearce. Barnes. 10 minutes gone in the second half, and the score here still 0-0. Sign of activity down on the England team bench. It looks as though Mick Harford may have been asked to do his stretches. Avi Cohen and the other one. Shimonov is shadowing him, as he has been for much of the game. The Israeli central defenders in front of the sweeper, keeping very close to Beardsley and Clive Allen. Pearce. Here's to Barnes. Now McMahon. Watson has come forward here for England. McMahon to Webb. Barnes again. Pearce. Barnes. Promising perhaps this by John Barnes. He's threatening to go through them all, and Clive Allen was in the middle of that somewhere. Well, there was a case anyway there of Barnes running at the defence and Allen trying to squeeze in at the last. Always feel with Barnes he's liable to go clean through the lot once in a while. And the defender just got a final touch there to turn the ball back. Brailovsky. Avi Cohen. Brailovsky again. Well played by Barnes. Now McMahon. And offside, the Israeli defence keeping a very orderly shape about it, really. Catching Peter Beardsley there. So, still, England can't find a way through. Eli Cohen was forward there. It was Mark Wright's header. Watson. Over to Stevens. Into McMahon. Waddle's on that side as well. Barnes has made a run across the penalty area here, but without success.
So they're looking now just that little bit lackadaisical. For the first time, the indecision coming in here and there in the England team, really. They've not lowered their morale despite the conditions up to now, but they look as if they can't find a way, and they're not getting the ball out to Waddle wide, although he shows that he could beat that man and get crosses in, but players seem uncertain as to the best way to cope with breaking down this Israeli sweeper defence, and they're away.
It's Brailovsky. Greeks is in the centre. Malmilian is forward. This is Greeks. Oh. Not sure what we say about that.
Well, I'm sure the crowd hasn't deafened you at home this afternoon, but that showed they were there. More in derision, I'm afraid. He's quite a player, Brailovsky. He can play the game. Lovely little flick on there from Milian, I think it was. And probably the worst shot we've seen this season from anyone in any country on any day. But not a bad player, that Greeks. It's just the excitement of the occasion, I think, got to him there. And the fact that he might be scoring the goal which would beat England.
And while all that was happening, Mick Harford is certainly warming up down on the touchline. This is McMahon for England to Pearce. Webb is forward. Barnes. McMahon in there again. Ellie Cohen got a touch to it. Waddle came across and hit one, which Ginsberg managed to gather from Chris Waddle. Now, did the goalkeeper commit an offence there? The referee is telling Klinger to go away. He's going to go and speak to his linesman. Just wonder if the goalkeeper there picked the ball up twice before it was released by another defender, but the Israelis are arguing over there and being waved away.
Rather interesting to have come all this way, John, and not know the least bit what it's about, isn't it?
Well, I think this happened once before, didn't it, in a match between Yugoslavia and England, where there was a suggestion that the goalkeeper picked the ball up twice, and England, in fact, scored from the free kick. Certainly the England players were calling the referee's attention to something there, but it may be in the end that he's got to sort out an awful lot of arguing from the Israelis as well first. I think he's going to probably settle by dropping the ball in the end. Anyway, it's come to nothing. So 17 minutes gone in the second half here in Tel Aviv, and it's Israel 0, England 0. Brailovsky was the offender there on Gary Stevens.
Thinking about the substitution, Mick Harford's the only card really that Bobby Robson's got to play in the attacking sense.
And Clive Allen, oh.
And this might be the time to do it.
Yes, just to clarify that bit about the substitutes, we only have 4 because when the squad left Luton on Sunday, there were only 16 players. Clive Allen, on another day, might have been able to hook that in, but not this afternoon. And when Brian Robson went home yesterday, that reduced it to 15, so only 4 substitutes on the England bench, one of whom, of course, is a goalkeeper, and one of whom, Kenny Sansom, is a defender, so it would only be a matter of, from an attacking sense, Mick Harford, as you say. Here's Allen inside to Webb, and Allen goes again. Now, has he got a chance here? Referee penalised Allen anyway for pushing. Certainly know, as we watch this build-up again involving Allen, that Bobby Robson did want to have a look at Harford, who was called into the squad at the end of last week when it was clear that Lineker and Haitley weren't going to be here, and neither was Regis. But reputations have been made in matches like this. Allen. Yes. Webb ran on for Waddle. But still no way through. Ivanir breaking things up for the Israelis. Malmillion on to Brailovsky. Now they've got Greeks in the middle with Eli Cohen. Brailovsky again. Oh, a good little turn, and he's been fouled. Well, he's very much a popular figure in Israeli football, is Brailovsky. There were a few eyebrows raised when the coach, Mikic, left him out today, and he showed there a little bit of quality. But Neil Webb's foot caught him. Free kick. Avi Cohen is waiting on the edge of the penalty area. Greeks is there as well. Malmillion. Oof, it was Avi Cohen who came closest to it. I think he feels he should have had a corner. But linesman walking back. And we can see this again here. Well, was there a touch by an England head there? It looks as though there was. So maybe Avi Cohen's appeals were justified. 20 minutes gone in the second half in Tel Aviv. It's Israel 0, England 0, and here comes Pearce for England. Corner. Wright and Watson are going forward. Allen, Barnes and Webb are in the thick of it there as well, as Beardsley prepares to take it. Flick on by John Barnes, and Watson was in there, but the goalkeeper, who must be quite pleased with his performance, Ginsberg, this afternoon. He was the 23-year-old who went to Arsenal for a spot of pre-season training, and after all the criticism of Israeli goalkeepers in recent months, he hasn't done too much wrong this afternoon. You might well take the view that he perhaps could have been more severely tested, but there we are. And it now becomes 1 degree clearer that we're going to see Mick Harford. He's standing down near the touchline. Question really here of who comes off, because Harford is certainly coming on. And Clive Allen is the man being replaced. As he was indeed on his last international appearance in Turkey. So he may be a little disappointed. But it's a change of emphasis, because Harford, of course, has the height to trouble the Israeli defence. We shall see if he does so. Here's Watson. And his first touch, or his first involvement, earns England a free kick, Mick Harford. He was fouled. Now could Harford perhaps get on the end of this? Barnes tried to, Ginsberg punching. And it comes out to Malmilian. Rylovsky taking on Gary Stevens. He wins out for England. Waddle. Certainly the Israelis will be pleased with what they've achieved so far. There's an offside flag there.
That was a beautiful ball there from Malmilian. He's the Glenn Huddle, really, of Israel, and he showed his ability there to some degree.
Played down the line by Pierce to Harford. This is, of course, a full England debut for Mick Harford. He has played and scored for the B team, but this is his first full cap. Pleasing for Luton Town, who are having such a very good season at the moment, and he's very much part of it at the age of 29. 25 minutes gone in the second half in Tel Aviv, and still Israel 0, England 0. Driggs for Israel. McMahon. Webb. Avi Cohen forcing the ball out. Just wonder what sort of service England can get in here, because Watson has joined the ranks in the penalty area. Harford is coming in behind him. It was Watson's flick. And again, the Israeli defence not panicking. Beardsley. And again. McMahon. Oh dear. Finger in the way of what was supposed to be a pass to Waddle. Malmilian now. Brylovsky, and he's got clear of Gary Stevens. Brylovsky right through, but scoops his shot over the bar as Chris Woods came out and let off for England, Jimmy.
It was indeed. It was that man Malmilian again with the through ball. Beautifully played there, perfectly timed, and this little lad Brylovsky's got some pace as well as dribbling ability, and the cheek to try a little lob over the keeper. But the pitch beat him in the end. It just popped up as he was doing it. Interesting player, plenty of ability there, all on his right foot, but a lot of talent there to enjoy.
Certainly a warning to England that they can take nothing at all for granted here. Israelis seem to have grown in confidence the longer the game's gone on, especially Malmilian, the man who you mentioned, who is 31. And just to show you that footballers can earn big money in Israel, they say his salary is around £60,000 a year, with the tax already paid, which is very nice for him.
I thought I saw him smile there, John, when you mentioned that.
Here's McMahon for England, into Barnes. But again, the defensive formation thwarts England. Watson with the header. Klinger. Cross to Avi Cohen of Jerusalem, the right back. Mark Wright with the touch. Offside against Ivanier, the number 10. But Israel beginning to enjoy one or two moments of their own in attack just at this stage. There's another point you made there, Jimmy. Of course, normally the 5 substitutes on the bench would include 2 forwards, wouldn't they? Today, Bobby Robson doesn't have that second alternative. Here's Barnes. McMahon's made a run from midfield. Harford's offside. There's 17 minutes to go here in Israel for England to scrape a victory, which might be aided by the possible appearance of Terry Fenwick. I didn't mention him earlier when I was going through alternatives. He can, of course, play in midfield. And indeed, he's getting ready right at this moment. Terry Fenwick now, of course, with Tottenham Hotspur. Here's Pearce of Nottingham Forest playing the ball down the channel for Mick Harford. Barnes. Well done, John Barnes. He's forced a desperate tackle at the end there, but only a goal kick ensues. And England now wanting to make a second substitution. And Terry Fenwick is coming on in place of Mark Wright, in fact. So presumably he's going to play in his World Cup position in the centre of the back four, alongside Dave Watson.
Presumably to reintroduce him to the setup in a way on the field, because there's no relevant reason for that change at this moment in the game, just to get Terry back there. He is a driver and a captain of players, and maybe that's what is missing to an extent, because Peter Beardsley is having trouble getting in the game himself at the moment, let alone inspiring his colleagues.
Yes, that's certainly true. The ball is with Dave Watson now. And this is Fenwick. And now Pearce. Beards is making a run across the field ahead of the players in possession, but you have to check and start again now. Watson, Harford's also made a run, number 15. Now, Beards is waiting in the centre, but the goalkeeper will have no difficulty in gathering that from Mick Harford. There's a quarter of an hour to go here. And England still haven't managed to register a goal. And indeed have got to guard against the Israelis, catching them by surprise at the other end, as we saw a few minutes ago. Israel have an injured player, it's Dreeks, and it would be a momentous achievement by Israeli standards, Jimmy, to achieve as much as a draw here against England, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. They'd be very pleased, particularly after the results they've been having. Other teams have come here recently and appeared to be able to beat them comfortably. And here we see that tackle in which Dreeks got himself hurt. If I had a criticism of them, I think they could be a little bit tougher in the tackle. I think they occasionally don't enjoy physical contact, but there doesn't seem to be a lot wrong with their skill when they set their minds to it.
There goes Dreeks. Oh, challenged by Watson, and the referee decides that Dreeks was the offender and gives England the free kick. He's been quite competitive, the Israeli centre-forward, and has worked hard. Here's Fenwick. Pearce. McMahon. Rolling it into Beardsley. McMahon again. Webb's well forward. Waddle. Still Waddle. And Klinger got the tackle, and it's a corner to England.
In a game where we're not getting many corners and attacks, just the simple process of putting Waddle in possession out there and taking the full back on seems to produce something. Even if it's a bad cross, it produces something.
Well, Barnes will take this corner. Harford and Watson have gone deep. Shimonov headed the ball out. Retrieved by Waddle to Barnes. Waddle again. Here's Fenwick. Brailovsky followed it. Gary Stevens headed it back, and onside, John Barnes. Possibilities here maybe for England. Webb's in the penalty area. So is Harford. Malmillion and Klinger both challenging Barnes. And between them they sorted it out very nicely from the Israeli point of view. Brailovsky. Working it well with Ellie Cohen. The crowd getting a little excited there as Dreeks goes through, but covered by Fenwick. Stevens. Webb. Touched back by Beardsley. Now Pearce. Webb with Ivanir challenging him. Now, can Pearce get a cross in for Harford to feed on? He did just that, but Harford could get no power on the header. Had a defender right in front of him. Well, there's a cold, wet night here in Tel Aviv, and not a great deal at the moment to lift English spirits. This is Brailovsky indeed for Israel, and Fennick having to clear. Watson. Yes. Fennick. Waddle. Oh. Lost it to Ivanir in rather a dangerous position. This is Malmilian. If he plays the ball to Dreeks. Fortunately for England, Watson was aware of that possibility. 10 minutes to go in the friendly international here in Tel Aviv. It's still Israel 0, England 0. Here's Pearce for England. Barnes and Webb, but sorted out by Avi Cohen. Malmilian. Avi Cohen. Brailovsky with Webb in attendance. Malmilian again. Brailovsky. There's three ahead of him here. Pearce was the player that got a foot in. Now, can England find a way through in the last few minutes in Tel Aviv? It's Chris Waddle over on the right wing. Harford. Brailovsky. Malmilian. Beardsley. Yes. McMahon, Barnes. A bit more promise perhaps here from England. Waddle. Stevens has made a forward run. Beardsley, Barnes in the centre, chance for John Barnes. Brilliant save by the goalkeeper. Barnes tries again, and Ginsberg restores his reputation after some rather unsettled performances recently. He's had a good day, the keeper. And at the other end, Brailovsky breaks for Israel. They revered the goalkeeper who died so much in this country that it's difficult for any of his successors. But Ginsberg made a terrific save there, because that from John Barnes looked to be on its way in. Here's Harford. Pearce. Now Barnes again. Can he wriggle through this time? He has. Barnes off. Just as his day.
It's not his day for finishing, but it is his day for showing us really what a class player he can be, even under these conditions. This beautiful chest trap there, and a first-class, well, reaction save. It was right at him, but the determination and the strength that we've seen from John Barnes today, and the stamina to continue to dribble, to continue to pass, to continue to get into attacking positions, has been great encouragement, I think, for the future. You see, he's resisting the challenges, jumping over them, not wanting to fall, and that was the final moment when the last skill let him down. John Barnes, a player and a half now in the last year.
Foul given against Mick Harford there on Dreeks. As Israel see the minutes ticking by and savour the possibility of holding England to a draw here in their own country, where several other European teams have won recently. You can see it's still lashing down with rain. That was the foot left there by Mick Harford, which caught Dreeks. Well, just look at that. We thought we were coming to a warm country. Free kick then to Israel. Dreeks has taken up his position again at the front of the side. 5 minutes to go. There's no score. Forward by Malmilian. Barnes now seen back in a defensive position for England. Forward by Pearce. Here's Mick Harford. Now Webb. Ball running on to Beardsley. Gary Stevens. Waddle over on the right. Still Waddle. Klinger with the tackle. He has played awfully well, the left back, against Chris Waddle. Watson. Yes. Harford hoping for something there. Barnes. McMahon coming through from midfield. And here's Webb. Oh, and an unorthodox save this time by the goalkeeper, but it's enabled Israel to get the ball half away. Here's Gary Stevens. Beardsley out on the right. Waddle. Oh, was he brought down, Chris Waddle, by Ivanir? Apparently not. Nothing's given, and there was no great protest from the England players. Probably me shouting in hope, really, there, than anything else. But... 45 seconds on the under 4 minutes to go when this happened. And Ginsberg has certainly had his moments, and Chris Waddle I don't think was actually ever going to get a penalty there.
Half a foot.
Yes, there's been one or two near things, but nothing to show for nearly 90 minutes of effort here. Israel 0, England 0. England having hit the post twice in the first half and had one shot turned onto the crossbar by the Israeli goalkeeper. Israel look as though they may want to make another substitution now. Number 14, Overdeer, is coming to the touchline. He'll only have about 3 minutes to play. Ivanir is the man coming off. So on goes Overdeer. And England resume with Dave Watson. There goes Beardsley. Harford. Waddle. Away by Avi Cohen. Beardsley. Malmilian. Oh, well played by Eli Cohen. There have been times in the second half when the England back four have had to have their wits about them and use a bit of pace to cover one or two lively Israeli breaks. A couple of minutes left on the watch. Still no score. Barnes for England, who's certainly come closest in this last 20 minutes or so. Pearce. Webb is well forward, but the crosses have just not been good enough for the most part by England. And in what obviously are difficult conditions, it's nevertheless been far from one of our better international performances. Most people were expecting at least a victory here, if not a convincing one. Still, I suppose there's just time for that still. There's a minute or so to go. Malmillion is on the ball for Israel. Eli Cohen. Also worth making the point that it's a much changed England team. Israel are breaking up the play in these closing stages, as overseas teams tend to do, by making a series of substitutions. The managers did agree there could be more than 2 today, and Eisenberg is coming on, number 15. So we've got Eisenberg and Overdeer on the pitch now in these last few minutes. Overdeer. Eisenberg indeed is waiting in the centre, but that lofted cross from Eli Cohen will just delay things for a few seconds, which might be all to Israel's cause. Referee from Belgium has already checked his watch in the dying embers of this friendly international. We are entering into time that he may be adding on for stoppages. Pierce down the line for England. Beardsley with Harpert inside, and Beardsley carries the ball out. Hasn't had much going for him today, Peter Beardsley up there. On the day that he captained England, it rather looks as though the result is going to be a famous one for Israel and basically a disappointing one for Bobby Robson's team. Don't think the England supporters standing, or rather sitting, some of them in the pouring rain, have really enjoyed this very much. And indeed, Israel achieve what for them is a highly satisfactory result, and England play out what from their point of view has to be seen as a tame 0-0 draw.
Il lunghissimo attaccante olandese Den Boer, 1,92 m, ovviamente temibile in particolare sulle palle alte, è da presumere che Mondonico lo affidi alla guardia Atalanta, che ha tenuto alto il nome dell'intero calcio italiano in campo europeo. Partiti, la palla è per Sanders che l'ha data a Emmers, poi all'indietro per Kleisters che disimpegna subito in fallo laterale. Per la rimessa è pronto Icardi. Ecco il lancio di Icardi verso Stromberg. Va sul filo del fallo laterale Stromberg, viene attaccato da un avversario che lo ferma e la rimessa è ancora bergamasca. Palla per Nicolini, Icardi. In profondità a cercare lo scatto di Fortunato, ma la palla sfila fuori. La rimessa sarà di Erwin Koeman, uno degli olandesi del Malin. Tra l'altro Koeman è fratello di Ronald Koeman, che è il capocannoniere nel campionato olandese, gioca con il PSV Eindhoven. Palla ora per Eli Ohana, è l'israeliano della compagnia. Calcio di punizione comandato dall'arbitro, ancora a favore dei giallorossi del Malin. Si gioca da 1 minuto e 15 qui a Mechelen, il risultato è di 0-0. Gara d'andata delle semifinali di Coppa delle Coppe. Palla indirizzata ancora all'indietro per Sanders, che va in combinazione con Ohana, sul quale c'è Gentile, va via molto bene Ohana, effettua il traversone. La palla poi è controllata da Bonetti, sul quale si porta però Sanders, gli ruba il pallone, si prepara al traversone Sanders, lo effettua, palla alzata a campanile, poi